the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial Ballistics.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Challenger Series, powered by Zotac and Crucial. We have reached the pinnacle of what these teams have to offer, and we're almost at the cusp of greatness. For one of these teams, it's a way and a path to a big stage, a grand finals where velocity awaits them, and for another, it's going to be a sad opportunity of what if and what could have been. Joining me for this next 3 hours to decide who's going to take that grand final slot is aggressive, as we have Reckoning Esports going toe-to-toe against Revenant Esports. The matchup, revenge. What happened in that upper bracket final will certainly leave Reckoning with a little bit to anguish, and this is the perfect opportunity for them to wave ways with Revenant.
Reckoning had to claw their way out of this lower bracket. And you know that as well, OG. They did not have a good run in this lower bracket. Even in the upper brackets, they got knocked out pretty early, and they had a revenge story in their minds. To reach to this top 3 position just goes to show how much this team has grown through pretty much every single trial that they have faced. Revenant, they've done the same. Revenant took a map of a velocity in the most convincing way possible, and at the very end, they could have won out on the third map as well, but velocity is velocity. They know how to close out maps, and they're building up on those strategies every single time. And I'm pretty sure as we head on down over towards the MVP standings, we are also going to be able to witness which of these players are constantly rising up to the challenge. And in the most miraculous of fashions, we see this all the time. Deathmaker, he's always at the top, but Rix from M42 still holds a solid position for himself regardless of whatever happened.
Yeah, his
He's
performance in
there.
the chamber has been beautiful, man, and this has gained him the position too, which we don't see anybody from Revenant or Reckoning being close to Deathmaker, right? So today's matchup, it gives the chance for one of these candidates, but it's by a long shot because Deathmaker, sure, he didn't look really lights out in the match prior. It also was due to the fact that Revenant Esports were constantly countering Deathmaker, right? But again, his stature throughout the entire tournament has kind of given him a solid lead. MVPs aside, what's going to be more crucial right now is the MVP for this matchup. Because in the context of Revenant Esports versus Reckoning Esports, so many of these players on the server are very versatile in nature. The last time we did get to see this matchup, we got to see something I don't think we got to see from the past 1 year, more or less. A game where every single player is on a very different agent. That's something that I'm hoping that we even get to see today, man. What a way to decide who the second grand finalist is going to be.
Yeah, we just have to wait and see exactly how it all pans out. But before that, let's head on over towards the bracket, see the entire journey that these two teams have gone through to reach this final stage. And honestly, the biggest upset that we have to talk about is Reckoning Esports taking this win against Enigma. That was the one battle that completely blew my mind.
I know, right? Just
That
watching
does
Enigma
not
bow out.
happen.
Yeah, Enigma, they sadly had to bow out. And even I was kind of mind boggled because this lower
Yeah,
bracket run looked so energetic from their
yeah,
end.
Enigma just forfeiting that, I just was not ready for it. When we heard the news, like we were all really saddened by this because we know for a fact that Enigma versus Velocity would be the most highly anticipated matchup for the longest.
For sure. And Reckoning, they kind of got this chance to have this rematch, right? Against Enigma, I feel like Enigma had a very distinct advantage walking into that lower bracket final matchup. So Reckoning got to be counting their stars here. And talking about counting stars, I'm also interested to see a variation in terms of the Astra because we've gotten to see it quite a bit lately, right? And this is two teams that understand how to put their Astra, especially Revenant, with the way their set executes have been throughout the Challenger series. It's something to absolutely behold. But again, this is all theory craft that we've put together. Let's just glance through the players before we head on to even the map veto for that fact. As we have on your screens right now, Reckoning Esports, a team that we've been praising about versatility, a team that we've been praising about how they've found adaptation throughout the seasons that change, so do they. Bad Love, Deadly, Rio, Pixel, Smoker, the way they can swap around roles is really nice, but they're going up against a team who have a very, very similar trump card, a very similar strong point. Now, this is where the interest intrigues everybody. When we see contrasting game styles, we talk about, a passive style and aggressive style, the mid-round variation. With how both these teams approach the game, it's more dependent on the draft, which makes a very big difference in how both these teams are going to be approaching, which makes it readable to some extent. And that's where I'm going to be interested. What are the reads that are coming into this?
We really need to see exactly what Reckoning are going to be doing when it comes down to their composition because of the way that they play. Revenant, they have their work cut out for them. So as we head on down over onto their team intro, we really need to see a new Revenant show up. Before this matchup by itself, there was a 4 p.m. matchup for a show match against M42, and M42 won that game. OG, M42 won
Yeah.
against Revenant on a 2-1 scoreline. And that shocked me beyond belief. And Revenant, the main reason why they lost was because they unnecessarily pushed into angles all by themselves, trying to take 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3 duels. And if they do the same thing against Reckoning, there's no way that they can recover. And I'm really hoping that these 5 players on our screen right now, yes, they're mechanically gifted. Yes, they're talented beyond belief when it comes down to their pure individual skill, especially when you consider Ember and Logista. These guys know exactly what they're doing on these support characters and they can frag out of their minds. But then again, against Reckoning, that alone will not be able to give you this win. As we head on down over towards the head-to-head screen, we're going to be able to witness these two players possibly rise up to the challenge and take their teams to the victory.
Yeah, and on the head-to-head, we have Amber taking on Pixels, right? Now, the reason we have this head-to-head in specific is due to the fact that both these teams rely on their controller absolutely causing chaos. This is where crowd control comes into the real picture, and that's something that we've seen a lot from Amber. And Pixels, he's more of a volatile controller, don't you think, compared to the utility support and the team root that Amber most of the time becomes?
Yep. Ember is much more reliant on being that secondary player to go in for those trades, while Pixels is much more of the heavy lurk, sometimes being that aggressive controller that can start entry fragging if he needs to. He knows what he can do with his utility and how to make proper use out of it so that he can facilitate himself, while Ember prefers to facilitate his teammates and then follow through with their aggression. These are completely two ideologies going up against one another, and that's why we see a lot more kills on towards the side of Ember because he wants to go for much more of that consistent play style, playing for trades. And when you play for trades, you have a lot more chances, sorry, to go in for those type of safe but methodical plays that gives your team that edge. But for
Yeah.
now, Pixels, he can easily do the same. We really need to wait and see as we head on down over towards the map video screen for the final hurdle that these teams need to go and take before reaching the grand finals.
For sure. And, for those at home who are wondering, yeah, Ember is certainly better because Pixels has lower kills. Now, that's not the objective of a controller. The objective of a controller is to create and alleviate pressure where it's needed to make sure your duelists and the people who are committing towards the site have enough room to work with to get those trades in their favor and to get those engagements, more importantly, in a more favorable fashion. Because most of the times it's a little more defense oriented unless utility is involved, right? And talking about defense orientation and also utility, Split, Haven, Ascent. Three maps that have been standard throughout the Challenger series. So we've seen a lot of variation on these maps already. The only question is how much more could we see? We're taking on two teams that rely on throwing curveballs, that rely on changing up the way they approach a couple of these rounds. So in terms of Split, this is a map where both Reckoning and Revenant are almost tippy-toe even. They have a similar win rate. They have more of a, how do I say this, harder time on the defense to some extent in the past that we've seen them. I hope that that's something that they're fixed because the defense on Split is heavily reliant on being confident with those mid-round aggression that happens through either main because we've seen so many times both these teams willing to relinquish mid for that fact. And Haven, it's also a map where we could see a small change up in terms of agents. The last time we did see Reckoning and Revenant duke it off in that upper bracket semi-final, it was Haven that gave us the unique flavor of having the entire server play different agents. That is a utility fest to behold.
But think about Split though. Split is also very different from the side of Revenant, because they go in for a Neon on this map and they're playing a Breach and an Astra. Revenant don't, not Revenant, Reckoning don't follow that same suit. On Haven, yeah, we do see a plethora of agent changes, but I don't think that Revenant are gonna stray away from what is meta on this particular map.
Yeah, it's a very default map pick, right? If you had something like Fracture, if you had something like Breeze, or heck, even if you had something like Bind, where we've seen more of Revenant than Reckoning, it could have been more of a question mark as to who's gonna take the dub. With this being so dead even, I feel like this is gonna be a three mapper. This has to be a very, very sweaty game from Reckoning because they had the luxury of laying back and watching Revenant with their matchup against Velocity, right? They got the chance to do a little more homework before they head into this matchup. Who do you think you'd give the edge to here? I still feel Revenant from the bottom of my heart, but I think that Reckoning were in a position to, deliver that curveball based on the amount of homework that they could have done.
To show that Reckoning, they always do their homework. You need to remember this, that they do have a coach that has been constantly running through as many possibilities as he can to push his team forward. And now that Reckoning have been given this chance, they did not need to fight Enigma. They did not need to go through one of the biggest obstacles they had to face before reaching this decider final stage.
Yeah.
They have that opportunity to finally get that revenge on towards Revenant and push their way to go up against Velocity. Velocity is not an easy task, but if you're able to take down Revenant, you're one step closer to that glory. And as the game is being set up in the background, ladies and gentlemen, I really want to ask you, OG, on Ascent, do you think there's a possibility of this going down over to the third map? Because in a way, I believe that Revenant should be able to take this on a 2-0. Their split performance is incredible, hands down one of the best that I've ever seen in this region because of the way that they play their wacky new strategy. But on the other end of the spectrum, there is Haven, where there's not really a lot of variations when it comes down to composition and how you can play the map, but there is a plethora of ways that you can switch up your strategies to approach the map in particular that can throw your opposition off. Reckoning are known for their multitude of different strategies, but Revenant, not exactly. They fall on the wayside quite often.
To some extent, yeah, they have that default maneuver where they concede control, they play the utility, they play the numbers, they play retake, to some extent readable as you may. And I kind of get where your angle is coming from, but I also feel like the matchup in the upper bracket finals to decide who our first grand finalist was between Velocity and Revenant kind of showed chinks in Revenant's armor. They have problem where once they amass a lead, they start giving small abilities to at least Velocity to claw their way back. And again, I'm talking about Velocity Gaming, a team that's been in the upper echelon of even South Asian Valorant to the past year and a half. That counts a lot of experience. That's something that Reckoning are trying to accrue now. That's not something that they have in the back pocket. They have versatility, they have young blood, they have talent, they have all that going well together. So it's going to be more of whether Reckoning are able to catch on to those small chinks in the armor that Revenant have, and are they able to exploit it as much as VLT were? Because mind you, VLT in that upper bracket finals were in very, very bleak positions to some of those strategies that Revenant had, especially on the map of Breeze. Revenant were able to make a no duelist composition work on the attack more so the
True.
defense, but they managed to close it out. It did get a little sweaty, it did get a little questionable at the end. They did manage to close it out though. A similar thing happened in Fracture where they had a good start in that first half, but things just slowly fell apart towards the dying segment of the first half, and in the second half I think they got a mass total of what, maybe 2 rounds. Not the showing that you want in that upper bracket final, right? The bled blood, this is the chance for Reckoning to strike, and I feel like it could go to 3 maps, bro. I understand that
Yeah.
Revenant had that upper hand, but I feel like Reckoning, with the way they've been performing lately, and more importantly, with the flaws that Revenant Esports have been displaying, have the opportunity to strike.
Especially after they played a best of three already. So now to play another best of three, do they have enough stamina to even go up against such a juggernaut such as Reckoning? It's a pretty tough call, but then again, Reckoning, they're going through a couple of their own problems as well. They don't have all of their teammates present now, do they? They're playing with Hirsch, and Hirsch, we all know for a fact that Hirsch is an incredible player. That guy can duel out of his mind and he can get you frags that you need. But then again, Smoker was an integral part of a lot of their strategies back in the day. We still
Yeah.
remember that. And Hirsch is still trying to fit into the team as much as he possibly can. Deadly's back on his duelist. So the firepower is present, but they need to learn how to utilize that firepower. While on the other end of the spectrum, we have to worry about players like Logista and Ember. Forget about Knight Rider and Scargod. We already know what they're capable of as duelist players, and we know how dangerous they can be. But man, Logista is possibly the best clutch minister that we can ask for. If he and
Yeah.
Ember are there in a 2 versus 5 situation with just sheriffs alone, forget vandals, just sheriffs, there's a high possibility that round is very much winnable. And Reckoning, they need to be shaking in their boots if these two players are alive, especially with utility. And they know how to utilize the utility down to perfection. And the way that they're able to take that control should give it all away. But then again, I'm talking about a Revenant that can play in the most optimum way possible. They're in top physical condition and they're able to bring in the flow state at will. But I don't believe that's going to happen here today, primarily after such a massive loss against M42. They're fatigued. They are going to be in pretty much a different headspace after such a massive loss. But hopefully they're going to be able to retaliate and come back because Reckoning, they're not going to go easy on them.
Yeah, to some extent, this is going to be that sweat, right? And I think that even in the last matchup, where in the upper bracket semifinal, it was Harsh playing that Sage on split, which did make a slight difference. Again, he chimed in about 2 to 3 rounds, but again, that's the Sage, right? It's just character that helps maybe your Jet and your Raze to play a little more aggressive, give you a little more options, and more importantly, buy a little more time and deny control. That's the objective that a Sage has to the majority of the extent, and especially on Split, where you wall off Heaven, they're denied access. You use your slow orbs, they deny the push unless they have 2 dive bombs. You isolate those fights. It's very effective if put in the right hands. And Harsh did his very best. Although Reckoning, they did have to bow out 13-5 out of that fight. The draft, like you said, with Scargod on this Neon, now that is something that I'm also going to be looking forward to because not a lot of teams had that opportunity to even fight against this Neon. So, what do Reckoning Esports do to counter this now that they've had a taste of what it's like to play against Scargod? What do you think you'd do to counter a running Neon in your face in this kind of a situation?
Now or never for both of these spots. And I don't know, man. Personally, you know that I became a massive fan of the Neon, and I also had a question for you regarding this. You know, with a lot of the changes that came over to Neon and how Neon has been playing here in the professional meta because of the way that she's able to close the gap really quickly through the ability of her run,
Yeah,
it's not as prominent anymore as you would think. Initially, when I looked at the changes, you get your bar back after one single kill. It's back up to full charge. But the thing is, you don't always get that kill now, do you? The fact that now the bar drains from 6 per second over to 10, you can't really run as long, not anymore. And that boggles my mind why Riot even touched this character. She was in such a good spot already, and the fact that she got nerfed not in only wall damage, but also in her ability
exactly.
to run, it just breaks the character as a whole. I believe that she fell out of the meta heavily.
It kind of breaks your heart as well. But let's
Yeah.
see if it breaks the heart of Scargod because he still has the opportunity to go for it. We have Knight Rider on the Chamber who's been doing really well for himself. Wimp on the Breach, Logi. The Astra, I think that's something that we predicted that's going to come out from Revenant Esports regardless of the map to some extent. I'm expecting this on Haven as well from Logi. Let's see if he continues that trend. Ember, the KO as usual. Nothing that different, right? It seems like both these teams have come in with what seems to be their go to game plan, and this yields comfort. Both the teams are playing to their strengths and their comfort. Is that a strategy that you like? Because that's a strategy I like. You know, it allows you to play more confident, it allows you to take it on your terms, on the turf that you think is yours. Scargod isn't deterred whatsoever. He's going back to his Neon. The exact same composition on the side of.
Yeah, but it's just I don't know. This composition feels too one-dimensional to me. Then I look at the other side of the spectrum and I see this. There's a breach. Like there's so much, dude. Like how can you not like this one certain composition? It's just so incredible to watch all of the utility just being used in perfect symphony with one another.
Yeah.
Because a blast coming in with the neon stun, with a gravity well from the Astra, three abilities just completely bombarding you with damage, and you have nowhere to run and you have nowhere to hide if all of them hit you together at once.
That's something that
That's
we
just
got to see in
depression in a
Haven as well,
nutshell.
bro.
That's
And
just
that's something that
depression.
I love. Hey, dude, don't call it depression. It's coordination. It's the beauty and the elegance of a setup. You know,
Uh-huh. Keep
it
on telling
all going
yourself
by
that.
the plan.
Keep on telling yourself that.
Wow. Nonetheless, a start here on the pistol as Reckoning Esports now on the defense duty. Dudley going for that aggressive peek. There is the setup towards the A side, so the more Revenant walk into this, it feels like they walk into a rabbit hole that is gonna buy a little space, sure, but they might just be putting themselves in a coffin. Although Pixels, a little too overcommitted, and Bad Love not in the position to punish. His utility slightly delayed, and Ember finally punished. Just push, but to a halt, and Revenant Esports not able to deal with this pace being put to an abrupt halt. Yeah, it's all left on a Knight Rider now. It felt like their plan was to flush Heaven and overwhelm the defense as soon as the kill came in through Deadly. They had no reason to peek through that region, just due to the fact that utility is already set. You just wait for them to make the next move. You set up to then punish, which they were. Pixels just got deleted though, which is kind of unfortunate, you know? You run the risk when you hold positions like that.
Man, Deadly, he just peeked out and he just... you can't make it up. He got sent back out of the server after getting shot like that. Poor guy. But hey, it's completely fine. Nothing to really worry about. They just need to hold. They just need to find a little bit more because Reckoning, they went on towards a very strong start. And I like the fact that Deadly's the one getting a couple of these kills. Having that Blade Storm up early as possible is one of the most crucial parts for the map of Split. Having that extra little bit of eco could just do everything for them. And Hirsch, he's just casually farming a couple of players while he's waiting for his team to come and back him up.
Was the difference maker before, he continues to be the difference maker now. Of course, this is against Classics, right? But this is where you'd expect your Sage to not only farm up a little bit in terms of the dough, but also in terms of her ultimate economy. You need to try getting to that revive in rounds like these where the pickings are a little more free. Go for it. That's what helps you get closer to a high impact round where you have that ultimate available, and then the difference could be made. A slow paced exploration mission from Revenant Esports. They try to discover stuff through vents. They're trying to force these fights CQC. Reckoning Esports, they're trying not to give to them, although Harsh has the back of Battle Love, and they close down this heaven push. This should be a flawless victory, and Revenant Esports, I don't think they're going to be any bit uncomfortable. They farmed up their ult tops, and now comes the chance.
Because, hey, yeah, they didn't get the plan down, but at the end of the day, even if they didn't get the plan, is it the end of the world? Because they got a couple of ult points to work with.
Yeah.
That's what they're hoping for. So, for now, Revenant, they have the buys back in their hands, and here is where they really do need to break. You do have to remember that the plan did not go down for 2 consecutive rounds. That's, what, 800 that you're missing now at this point? So the snowball effect will start to kick in if you do not get this round in particular. You won't have proper buys for 2 more consecutive rounds.
Deadly has that operator, which could be what helps Reckoning Esports secure this bonus. Tailwind, he needs to try to dispose of it, but he dashes back to an unsafe corner. The wall out in the nick of time, and it's not going to be demolished to punish Deadly. Skargod, though, finds his way through ropes after a quick fight up A heaven. He gets that frag. He draws a little bit of rotations towards this B side. Reckoning Esports, their rotations are going to be hampered, and it's all going to be on how Revenant choose to punish it. They want to spearhead their way in towards B heaven, but they anticipate Deadly's repositioning, and they anticipate him still wanting to take a part in this fight. He's unpunished. Ember gone.
Getting a
what?
Just give it to him. He's feeling it. And Deadly, this is his world. And we know for a fact that he doesn't want anybody in this place, not anytime soon. He even hit the shot straight through the wall. That's gonna be a job. Hirsch spots out one, and Deadly with a swing shuts down the last. My God, Deadly. This guy just knows, man. He will not miss a shot, and he's gonna get it all. Just look at this guy. He's peeking everything.
What a time to come alive. This is exactly what Reckoning Esports had in mind. That operator, the best way to fight that deficit of weaponry when you're on that bonus. Something to propel you a little further, to ensure you at least have that fighting chance. Revenant Esports, they're opting for split control. They have aggressive control through ramps where Skargods completely push the pedal, and they're slow with their control towards B main and mid. And they're trying to be methodical about this. They don't want to overcommit, they don't want to overpeak. I just hope that they're not caught between a rock and a hard place, as it's not all red alerts on RGE, right? They know the fact that Revenant Esports are going for such a pace is due to fading rotations being their game. And Reckoning Esports reading it to some extent. Are they able to deal with it? That's the second question. Bad Love. Nice angle held prior to that flash, and Knight Rider finds that trade. They've given the B side away, and not by any means freely. They've lost 2 members. The man advantage gone the other way. The only saving grace's HP really isn't favorable for Revenant Esports. So Crossfire is going to be the name of the game. Are they going to be able to get it though? We had to see that for a fact.
Said he wins the race here. Pixels, He needs to find the perfect angle for the shot. Deadly, he's hunting him down with the operator, but the time is ticking. They need to go in faster. It's still such a close fight. Very low HP on both, but this lurk, that's gonna be good from Scargod. He's good for what? Deadly, he has a rifle in his hand, but he's surrounded from multiple different sides. Easy kill! But Scargod's gonna be able to retaliate regardless. Good plays, but my god, that turnaround nearly did scare me for a second.
Revenant Esports, the chaos that they're trying to ensue by pushing this defense back, by denying information, they're trying to catch Reckoning Esports when their mind is giving the benefit of the doubt, right? They're looking for a small overextension by holding such ultra aggressive off angles. And they hold it for a good 30 seconds along with disposing utility and demolishing whatever RGE are trying to throw their way. They weren't able to do it when Deadly had that operator. They found a reply to it, and the reply is close the gap so much that you do not give Deadly a lot of room to feel comfortable. An uncomfortable Deadly forces uncomfortable mistakes, and that's exactly what Revenant Esports look to punish with such a lineup.
Revenant, they know what they can do to try and take this one away, but then again, on the other end of the spectrum, do you believe this composition is a lot more stronger on the defensive side or on the attacking side? We know that this map is historically better for the defense, but the composition feels much more two-sided in my opinion. Both of the sides have their strengths and weaknesses, but
yeah,
I don't know. I want your opinion.
Especially with Revenant's case, I feel like with that neon pickup, look at the agent surrounding her. KO. Brilliant setup, not only in terms of the flash, which is more like a god flash that you really can't dodge if you're not aware of that lineup existing. You have the Chamber who tries to root out the backstab while you're trying to play aggressive. Both Astra and Breach are very, very nice, especially Astra in terms of the long range setup. You can set up from anywhere on the map for your Neon to play aggressive and facilitate that aggression in a more safe and soothing fashion, along with Neon's utility kit. So it feels like their attack, if it goes like how it's been before, you know, a very well thought out default that they like to execute, it's something that Reckoning Esports really need to read into if they need to find counters, which to some extent they have, right? We've been seeing brilliance from Reckoning so far. It needs to continue though, because Revenant still have a couple more tricks that they can pull up from their sleeve and throw at the brick wall that are Reckoning at this moment. Yet again, they exploit mid-vents, and there's nothing that Reckoning do to counter this apart from hold aggressive off angles through A Heaven, which at least on this occasion has not been countered. There is no Scargod that's pushing towards A ramp. This call, I think, is decisive. Revenant Esports are expecting more of a stack towards A, and considering their game style, they're not anticipating quick rotations, hence an ability to catch Reckoning Esports' defense off guard. But they are mistaken. The Raze has rotated through defender spawn rotation, and that might be a very decisive move. Revenant's slow-paced nature has yet again helped them avoid that kind of a fast and maybe haphazard play. Although they need to walk into an A side and clear a crap ton of angles.
They have to worry about the multiple different corners that they are holding, and Deadly, he's in the perfect spot. Trigger discipline will be key. Deadly,
another one.
Move. He's gonna promote. Will he be able to find it? But no, the turnaround from Ember. Ember's gonna be the game changer for it all. Ember, he's been doing so much. He's been such a great player, but against Deadly, I don't think that's gonna happen. Right click to the face, the body. Doesn't matter. He's gonna get a 4K to end everything off. 4-1. And Reckoning, they come alive.
That was so damn timing there. The fact that he was able to catch not only two players line up, but the first having his back turned, boy, he couldn't have asked for anything better going his way. And just like that, on the back of the urgency to make that call, they had to keep up with the pace. That's what happens when you need to make such decisive play without having the information. If you don't have players who might be able to pull off individual brilliance and get a nutter shot, you stand a very good chance of being derailed. And Reckoning Esports, they've given Deadly his preferred arsenal. The big gun is on his big hands, and a big duty to choke Revenant Esports when they have that opportunity.
For now, though, things have slowed down quite drastically. No movements being made just yet. They're trying to feel each other out. And Deadly! The leg shot! He's not gonna go in for it! I was surprised! I thought he was gonna pull out his shorty and just swing that corner, but this just goes to show that he is showing discipline way beyond his years. He understands.
Lurk play. They're trying to crunch through A ramp. Knight Rider is going to be peeking and supporting his teammate while they make their way up to the workroom. They have information on pixels, and now with that overload, they kind of negate the utility. Rio, he needed to take the gunfight there or needed to play passive. Chooses the earlier, and now that's an early end to what could have been a man advantage and maybe a more passive approach. The only saving grace yet again is Revenant Esports and their low HP. Reckoning Esports need to approach this like a very disciplined 3v3. They need teamwork and utility to guide them through this dark tunnel where Ember is looking to bury them and make their reign live short. This is the fight back. This is Revenant Esports vying for a chance in this first half, and they're gonna strike back early, and they want a chance to take this lead. They're gonna be getting that. And Deadly, he's gonna be getting that operator. He should be happy. Look for a way to look at your backline. Save that weapon, because that's gonna be Reckoning Esports' trump card. And their only chance maybe to stop a Revenant comeback early here in this first half.
At least the operator's saving grace that they can hope for.
Exactly.
Reckoning. Not the end of the world for them. They can still go in for buys. Deadly can give a gun to one of his allies, so it's okay. But for Revenant, they're ecstatic. The fact that they got all of these kills, even though Knight Rider died out early, mind you, because of a beautiful pixel peek from the side of Pixels. He knew what he needed to do to try and find that advantage, and he found it to perfection. And now that Revenant are slowly building up their strategies once again, adapting to a lot of the plays being made by Reckoning. Reckoning, you are now being put to the test. How well can you adapt? Because if you don't, you know for a fact that the entirety of Revenant will take you by storm.
Yet again, they aggress through this narrow choke point, but it's been the path for great success. Pixels, he finds success in that position, but his team needs to be able to follow suit. They've stopped that aggression for now, and they recognize that they need to find a different way to reapproach this. How many times have we seen Harsh pull off miracles? Not only with that same position, but with that same gun. Padlov finds Logi, which has been a disturbing trend. Logi has been getting caught off guard a couple of these rounds, and that's something that might change the way he chooses to approach this. Pixels, a conservative approach. He wants to try buying time and allow the utility to do the heavy talking. You dial down the time, you call for rotations, and you play the back of teamwork yet again. They line up! Reckoning Esports, they find timing, they find angles, and they find an advantage. Harsh, close range judge. And this is the undoing of Revenant. Once you find a way to deal with Event's aggression, it feels like Revenant's response is very flat, at least for now. They have a chance to bring in variety still. There is ample opportunity left in this first half, but there's not been ample that they've been doing for the past few rounds. That needs to be what changes. I feel like if they try to maybe get that Vents control without overcommitting into Pixels and deny that to Reckoning Esports while they're approaching towards either main, it could be a better alternative. But yet again, we might say some stuff more about Revenant doing their homework, as it's gonna create the fuel to the grand finals. Pixels is able to find himself. Wait, no, he was so unfortunate with how that panned out. Oh no.
God.
You are divided.
Well,
They have the revive. Oh, the showstopper? That was questionable, and so was Ember's play. The revive bites numbers back to Reckoning Esports, and so was that operator back on Deadly. Harsh. Nice window. And they deny Ember his life. 1v2. Logi, the man in question for the past few rounds, now needs to put results on the table. Withdraws a vandal. Nice tap on a Deadly.
God, that's Logi, man.
Whew.
When it comes down to his draw mechanical skill, you have to say that no one can match him. That guy is just on another level, the way that he's able to find so much value. He nearly did the impossible. If Hirsch didn't have the perfect angle to go in for that trade,
Yeah.
it was over.
AIM Labs really kicks and hits hard, doesn't it?
Yep. Him and Ember, man. If these two players are alive, you know that the server's in danger. That's why I was like, just kill Ember already. Just make sure he's out of the server. Otherwise. Good night.
Yeah, and in that head-to-head, we mentioned how influential Pixel's plays are on the offense. Well, the defense certainly started this best-of-3 lower bracket finals with a lot to say. And we need to see the same from Logi. Logi has been getting caught off guard like we've been saying before, and that's a story that could change right now. With the way Scargod's been aggressive, this Vent's aggression scares me. It's been on a plethora of occasions where Revenant haven't been able to get that information towards Rams, and they don't have control of it yet again. Deadly's on the other side with the operator, man, and this operation already seems like a doomsday demise if Revenant Esports did end up going in with commitment, which they haven't. They've turned tails and they've head towards the B side, where for now numbers favors this offensive, but it needs to be timed well. It needs to be timed now. The Killjoy utility is the only thing that can put a stop to this, and Rio needs to go berserk.
Just need to wait it down through. They have the Cyclones under control, but Pixels right on the other end. Here comes the swing, but no, the shots are not going to be good enough. They're whipping it out. The trades are going to be there, but Deadly somehow still very much alive. The shots are going to be missed. Scargot still kicking. He's going to be able to take down Bad Love. The spike's going to go down, and in the last, what, 20 seconds? 4 members just died.
Yeah, Reckoning were recommitting to that side. A couple of frags did go their way, but Scargod in the back lines makes all the difference. Things get harder now for Reckoning Esports, and Scargod looks to be the closure. Deadly, is he gonna save that operator? You should bet your house he would. Dude, that is so salty, but Scargod knew what he had to do, and he has the appetite to get it done.
You know, I love to do that so often to all the jet mains that are just running around thinking that they're gods with the operator. It's so much fun.
You belong on Salt Mine, my friend.
Hey. Operator oppression. There has to be some way they go against it.
And the way you oppress an operator is with utility and speed.
Yes.
That's something that Deadly was able to deal with the pace with. And we need to see if that's an ability that he's now suddenly, you know, having questionable results with. Because it started off well. A round makes a small difference, but not the biggest one, and that's the more important part of this picture. Not a lot that they have invested in this round. The blades are out and Deadly ready to kick some ass. He should find that timing. Everybody from Reckoning Esports are trying to buy a little bit of aggro all the way through defender spawn. I hope this is a setup for yet again a brilliant display of blades. I jinxed him.
Okay, never mind. I think you did.
You hope for a clip.
Whoa.
That was PTSD.
I think that is a clip right there. You peek out of the corner and you see Jason just standing on the other end.
Top 10 pictures moments before disaster. I think that's the meme you're looking for.
Wow.
And
hey, whenever I see 4 players as soon as they swing a corner, you know the meme? Da, 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 da.
the be right back one?
Yeah. I'm like, I'll be right back, boys.
But you know what's right back aggressive? This operator from Deadly.
Yep.
This has been something that's been able to put a stop to the pace that Scargod's been able to offer. And this needs to be the response from Reckoning Esports if they are to choke. Sadly, they've let go of this B side. Previously, a lot of KG utility was set towards the B side, but that's a change that Reckoning Esports have gotten due to this aggression through mid. But they found that small opening during that hit to find that crucial opener. Knight Rider, with that tour de force, is a force to be reckoned with. It denies so much aggression, it denies so much pace, and it denies trades. Especially on the retake, those are 3 things that you need going your way. And Knight Rider, he will put it to bay. The first frags in, they have spotted Bad Love just as that wall goes up. Logi needs to win this fight out, and out times the satchel. Pixels, he needs to pull off the clutch, and TP's right in front of them, and they are aware he needs to make that play work. Logi flirts with death, and now he stands a chance to redeem himself in this first half. Goes on to swing the white side of the pillar and ring around the Rosie. Logi will not be a posy. Gets the round, and they fight for an equal half. Whew. Either side not willing to bow out of this fight, and it came down to the final man standing.
Right there.
He never fails to amaze. Every single time we see this player, he will deliver, and there is no situation where he will not be the one to clutch a round out. I love that about him. And that's one of the main reasons why Logi is in such a good spot. But then again, you have to talk about Deadly.
Took another shot in that? Dude, what is this guy made of?
He's not scared. He's not scared. Oh, wait a minute. Rio's actually going to be able to find a kill with that Guardian.
All the way towards the main entrance, and Harsh, this is the position he loves. This is the ability to just shut down this Heaven aggression. It's so scary. Ember, though,
just
is gonna be
swatted him
able
out of
to
the
put it to a stop.
eyes, man.
Here's the thing. Ember has the spike. This lockdown denies a little, but it would have still given them the sight if they had the spike in the right position. Loki's yet again influential with his utility usage, and so is Rio, as he uses this Guardian like it's a headhunter. Well, it's the most costly one in that. And Knight Rider needs to be a guillotine if he is to find this clutch. Just by mere pixels, shall he find the advantage?
Shadows traveling.
Okay.
Satchel out.
Smoke is a big advantage though, so I don't see Knight
30
Rider
seconds
even
left.
remotely close to finding a clutch.
Teleport's ready.
Oh.
Out of
He died with
charges.
style, okay. Honorable death.
Switching sides.
Blown to smithereens is not really an honorable death, my man.
That is an honorable death in my eyes. Because at the same time, people will remember you for that death. No one's gonna remember you if you get a bullet shot through yourself.
That depends on what kind of a bullet it is. Well, what kind of difference do you expect from Scargod now? He's been the aggression. He's been the aggressive, if you know what I mean. So,
Sure, buddy.
on this defense, that needs
He was
to...
the OG, right?
Well, at least he's the OG Neon for now. That's what we'll
Yes,
remember
he's
him
the
as.
OG.
Dude, this setup from Revenant Esports, they look to exploit mid and B. That's nowhere close to where Reckoning are. It's all going to be on Knight Rider's ability to get this frag and fall back. At least he makes his way back to safety. Goes for a second shot at it and is actually gifted the opportunity. Deadly is taken down. There's no rebuttal just yet. Revenant Esports are going to rely on Knight Rider to be overlooked. He dodges the boom bot. Little do they know, he is just a menace. And oh my Dennis, he's not able to pull off the play. The man advantage, however, and Reckoning Esports now on the back foot. Rio's trying to make his way back to his side, and Pixel's position is so one and done. Logi deals with it. The man advantage folds, and it's all on the Sentinels to be the saving light.
They're gonna try to survive this, but then again, it's not a good spot.
Player standing.
Wait a minute. At the end of the day, they're still gonna be able to find a couple of more kills. Not
Chance.
just very much alive, but Ember, he just knows how to get these taps at these perfect moments. He does not miss. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 7 and 6. Revenant, they're back in the running. They won out on their first plus around here, so at this stage, we can guarantee the fact that this will be a 7 and 7 scoreline. To get a thrifty round here on the attacking side of split, yeah, that's a difficult feat. Wait, they're force buying.
They are. They want it. Deadly is back on that Marshall. I want to see what this man has to offer. Okay, never mind. He goes for the Spectre. As soon as I say that, yet again, the curse hits hard. It's hard at times. This is going to be Reckoning Esports taking a small gamble. If they lose this, they threaten giving the lead away. They dodge that 0 point. It gives them a little bit of misinformation for them to work with. But Revenant Esports on a double stack towards this ramp position. They have somewhat read and the ability to deal with this kind of a play. Ember, he goes down, but Knight Rider bites his time. He shoots the bullet though, and Ember with the utility comes in clutch just in the nick of time. Knight Rider able to fall back. All Gucci as he's able to keep his life intact. Although Deadly looks to change that for a fact. Almost drove away with a kill there, but Reckoning Esports, now what's their game plan? They have the advantage, but Revenant Esports' ability to just turn up the pace, that's not something that they can easily fight. And they have negated Scar God. It buys the traction. Logi comes in the nick of time. Pixels is the only one who's able to play around with this kind of an aggression and find the edge that they need. Although he's quickly going to be looted out by Loki. And yes, it's all on a Rio. He needs to find the clutch where there's no alarm bots, no swarm grenade, nothing to aid him in this upward battle. And Revenant Esports, this is what I feared. Sure, they might have that advantage, but Scargod's position in the minimap, it was like watching Sonic the Hedgehog.
Gargot just loves to run around the map. The level of map control he's able to gain is always astounding. And hey, with a Neon, that is exactly what you're supposed to do. The more control that you're able to gain, the better your team is going to be able to play. You are pretty much a living, breathing recon drone. So why not make it very much possible? 7-7, but at the same time, the rounds were very close for comfort. Defense nearly lost. This was a round that was supposed to be won out by the attackers, but the force line not panning out for them is going to set them back one more round. They need to opt to go in for this save, and now launch time begins.
Here's the thing though, they've at least managed to keep the economy of Revenant Esports a little humble with the damage that they were able to do in the round prior. If that's something they can replicate with the Sheriffs, which is more than a doable task, especially on a map like Split, that's gonna be ideal situation for them. Although Revenant Esports, they're looking comfortable, they're looking in their juices, and they're getting these kills with a lot of safety net, a lot of utility that's being holy crap, that was so scary. The fact that Scargod still ran away with that frag and his life, yeah, sure. Try explaining that to the cops. Not gonna happen. Not likely. The man advantage.
Careful here.
The round advantage, sure, is in the books of Revenant. But now, how did they deal with this? Did they reinvest? Did they go for an upgrade? In this kind of a situation, when the scoreline is so dead even, I feel like playing the bonus could be a double-edged sword, right? Realistically, looking at the money, Scargod can go for a Vandal or a Phantom. Wimp can go for a Phantom. It's possible for them to have good rifles and good utility to fight this round, and I don't find a point in them giving this away.
We have to wait and see exactly how this mid push is gonna work out for them. Scargod maybe getting a little too overzealous. He needs to give this one out, but he's now going straight up into the danger. Why?
Double.
What?
Oh, Knight Rider finds himself the double again. This is just the aggression that can't be expected from Reckoning. If you're Reckoning, you're like, yeah, 2 people died at mid. No shoot, there's gonna be another person there. But little do you know, Knight Rider has the surprise element on his side. It's boiled down to this 3 versus 3. And Reckoning Esports are gonna rely on this backstab to pay its dividends. Nobody is having their eyes turned, and that could have been triggered discipline. Although his rotation towards B main is now more critical, as it allows them to maintain this man advantage and to then deliver the choke. Shrouded step back to safety, and they're playing with ball, and Deadly knows exactly how he needs to ball. Lambot Destroyed gives him a shadow of doubt, but on that engagement, he is gonna be crisp. 8-8, and this is the fear that was underlying within me. I did not want them to give away a round like this, which not only gives Reckoning Esports an equalizer, but now the ability to fight back.
The opportunity that they needed to get that lead back that they lost. Because you gotta remember something, Revenant as a squad, they really do rely on having a lot more of that snowball effect in their favor. You give them a couple of rounds, and as soon as you blink, for some reason they're on double digits, and then you're royally screwed. Because as soon as those double digit markers come in, Revenant turn into a completely different beast right then and there. Reckoning, they're trying to close this one out as fast as they possibly can, and it all starts with Deadly being able to find these frags. He has the opportunity to go in aggressive, but how will he pan it out? How will he push his way forward? Because Scargod, he has the angle, and he also has a concussive stun to work with. Slight little bit of a noise, and Wimp throws out a stun, and also a flash at the same time with a concussive blast, and that should be the thing, but...
They pushed back though. Scargod trying to use utility to suppress this kind of a play. And he's transitioned in towards the site. So they want to try and fight this hit as it comes. They do not want to concede site and play retake. Hence, not only that aggressive position through site, but also main, as Logi should hold off any further aggression. A nice trade. Deadly keeps his team a little more relevant, and Logi now needs to go on the commitment. Although the push through defender spawn rotations what's going to make the difference. Knight Rider has the Tode Force, and Logi is holding strong like he needs to, like his team expects him to. 30 seconds. Time is of the essence, and so is the rotation. Because Reckoning, they found the window. Knight Rider, the Tode Force could be beautiful to deny. No, he gets denied life. He gets denied opportunity. And now, Reckoning Esports having the chance. The showstopper pushes them back even further. Revenant Esports, they fight with this with all their heart, blood, sweat, and tears. But at the end of the day, it's Reckoning Esports running away with that advantage. Are they setting up this bait? Yes, they are. They just want Bad Love to go unaccounted for.
One enemy remaining.
This is a heartbreak aggressive. Oh, how the bonus has costed them.
They had an opportunity to bring this one back, but you'll just make two small mistakes and then it's just all over. You tell your man, let's play for trades. The man is like, nah, I just want to go and get a kill, man. Swings out. Ooh, that's rough. Logi at least is able to save a gun, but small victories are not going to get them much here. Double digits right around the corner for Reckoning. And they're right at the doorsteps of possibly taking this victory away.
They've got the lead here. It's not about getting ahead, it's about maintaining it. That's the more difficult aspect. Now the Reckoning have it in their court. What's their game plan?
Double initiator composition. It's difficult.
Oh, no, Scarlet's gonna get that. The trades! Deadly's able to be relevant. He's able to get the double. Although Knight Rider, he tried to TP back, and his corpse is what sent back. Reckoning Esports. This mid aggression. Sure, utility was disposed by Revenant Esports. Reckoning those saw this coming from a mile away. They were set up for such a play. And now this lockdown adds on to the misery. Reckoning Esports on the cusp of double digits, and the aggression punished. Deadly. Right position. Right idea. And a perfect execution. Revenant Esports. We mentioned that they had the opportunity to do their homework aggressive, and it looks like it's paid off for the moment. There is a crucial aspect of both these teams that might still cause them problems, and that's their ability to close these games out.
I think that is a common problem for pretty much every team in South Asia.
And with the scoreline being this close, yeah, that adds fuel to the fire. What do we have in terms of ultimates, though? Because we have the Tode Force on Knight Rider, which was used in the round prior. That's a heartbreak. He has the operator cool, but it's not really to the same effect, is it? This is the chance for Reckoning. They can't let this one slip by. Map 1 could well and truly be in their grasp. And it's on a very, very slim margin that these players are going to duke it off. Knight Rider's aggression to the main is the only thing that's holding this defense for Revenant Esports at the B side. Everybody else is towards mid and A. And Knight Rider still finds success. Is he going for overly aggressive? The double! We mentioned that this might not be to the same extent that Totefo's could wield effects, but Knight Rider and co
Down A.
are finding ways to prove us wrong and make us eat our words like it's mincemeat. As the unexpected plagues Reckoning Esports, they tried the split aggression. They tried to hold for it, in fact, but a small slip up. And Revenant Esports able to find the openings on both fronts. This is not the calculated Reckoning Esports that we've been seeing, and rightfully so,
That's a pause.
Rio calls the timeout.
This was a round that completely bamboozled everyone. I'm pretty sure that even the players are shocked by this. That should not have happened in any front. And you can see Sharky, he's a little bit disappointed in his team for that exact same reason, because after so many consecutive rounds of them pretty much pulling off every single strategy flawlessly, this should not have happened at all. Work has been done, everything is good, but once again, give that slight little bit of an edge to yourself. I understand that you feel that Hirsch can do pretty much anything and everything. Hirsch is incredible the way that he is playing, but then again, it's against an operator. You can't always 100% guarantee that you'll get that headshot. But if he did get that headshot there, OG, you know that this entire round was under their control. That trade would have defined the entire game by itself.
Yeah, sure. I feel like you could say the same about Knight Rider for the past few rounds, right? It's the last round where he's actually stepped up and gotten that early aggression work for him. Usually when he holds that aggressive off angle, it's been what? Good 4 or 5 rounds that he's been punished, especially towards that A main position. Finally, we see a rejuvenation
Get out of my way.
in terms of his play, and
Sad. That is so sad.
so unfortunate. Oh no. He almost had the right play there. Pixels though punish a Scar God, and this is something that Reckoning Esports were trying to anticipate even in the round prior. If you notice, they were holding very similar off angles to see whether Scar God is going to be this exploratory. Oh, he uses the utility perfectly to not only buy himself a kill, but if anything happened, buy himself space, which is what he resorted to. The wall through defender spawn rotation yet again, but Ember finds that frag just in the gaps. He finds and gets those taps. The man advantage is what they have alongside the Rolling Thunder. This is a doable task, but they need to tread with security and safety. Otherwise, this advantage could be boiled to nothing. And Pixels, realizing that they need a small advantage walking into this, is committing to that lurk. It's going to be on this front lines to hold its weight. And it's Rhea who's the first man in question. Bad Love accounted for as well. And this is the plan for Heaven. Cool, but his position given away means he needs to make a berserk play. There is the possibility he lays cover and spams through it. As everybody is looking at his position, they are gonna try and find that wall bang. He goes for the peak. He almost lined up. He's on the verge of finding the clutch, but he misses. No, just by a couple bullets, he misses a chance for touching a brilliant clutch as it slips away from his fingers, and double digits on either side as Revenant Esports find equal pegging.
Panicked under the pressure. You saw that his counter strafe was just not perfect on that regard. If that counter strafe worked out, it was done. It was dusted. We're at equal footing once again, ladies and gentlemen, and these rounds are just getting tighter and tighter in every possible second. Corner has been spotted, and Logi, okay, maybe just head back, bro, but nope, he's still gonna go for it. They're still peeking the angle. They don't care.
Yeah, they're just spamming. They want to deny control as much as possible. For now, though, Revenant Esports are trying to counter what was their medicine, you know, that Vents aggression that we mentioned before. They tried to account for it early on, and since they anticipated it and did not receive anything in terms of confirmation, they've made rotations to compensate for it. You see a more passive Revenant Esports now. The Scargods rotated all the way towards B Heaven. They still get information towards mid. They still get a little more option to fight towards this B side, while they might allow that Vents aggression to just come on through, because you have aggression through A main, right? Scargod's made the perfect rotation. He's in a very good position, and the rest of Reckoning Esports are gonna walk into a site where Revenant Esports expect the hit and have set up accordingly. It's gonna be on Knight Rider to find this opening. He's been successful with the operator before, and he's successful yet again. Snaps back to safety. The man advantage in the court of Revenant Esports, and this is a crucial man advantage at the 22nd mark. Now Reckoning might need to contemplate a 4-man save. Scargod yet again trying to push them back, trying to buy cover, and time dwindles, and so does this round in the favor of Revenant Esports as they get closer and closer to map point. A tough pill for Reckoning Esports to swallow, as they're just made to sit and wait in their own demise of what could have been a great round.
Lost out on one of the guns as well. That's gonna be the secondary gun. Scargod has nothing to worry about. They have more than enough bank to keep on going in for buys. He wanted to go in for an aggressive play to shut down any form of hope they could have had in the following roundup, and they did just that. They lost 2 extra guns. That would have been a 4-man save, and now without a 4-man save, 2 of their members are being forced onto Spectres and 1 on to half shields. That breaks the bank quite heavily, and I do believe this is the do or die.
Yeah,
If-
we didn't mention, right? It's easier to get the lead, harder to maintain it. Yep. Exactly what happened to Reckoning Esports. Revenant
Just
claw
like in
their
life.
way back.
That's like
That is sad life right there, bro.
hey, at least
Bad
it's
luck.
better than me getting bamboozled.
I mean, there's still room for that, dude. We have maybe another broadcast of the Bamboozle series waiting for us, so yeah,
No,
money's
no.
still safe.
Oh my god.
Here.
The fact that we still name this series the Bamboozle series is what really surprises me. But then again, it's Valorant.
Yeah.
This game could be called something different related to Bamboozle and would still play it.
Here's the thing though, this mid-aggression, this time Revenant Esports are trying to employ that same strategy. If they don't meet aggression within that first minute, they're relinquishing it and then trying to make an educated guess as to where they need to commit that rotation. They got information on the Killjoy waiting outside A main, and I'm pretty sure Ember is able to hear the aggression through mid-vents. They have a small idea as to what's ahead of them, but Reckoning Esports are very smart. They're in a position where they can commit either towards the A side or the B side. Depends on how the pick and goes.
30
You
seconds
see
left.
that
This
Rio,
rotation.
that lurk though.
Yeah.
This lurk is so good. There's not even an alarm bot here. He can easily really
Oh.
woke up. But Knight Rider, my god, this guy just flicks up and he's able to shut down one. Her still far off from having any form of time to try
Again,
to
the
go into this.
time.
But again, 10
seconds
seconds.
left.
What are they doing? Reckoning.
This is the smartness of what Revenant have to offer, you know? If you don't come and take the fight when we're there, we're not gonna give it to you. If we're not gonna give it to you, where you do want to take a fight, we're gonna just choke you with utility. What are you gonna do then, huh?
That's the thing.
show.
This is why I love this composition. The level of utility that you have on your side allows you to play the long game in comparison to your opposition. Your opposition can throw all the utility in the entire world. This is one of the weakest points of a double duelist composition. You do not have enough utility to take control of a side. It is physically not possible. Look towards the other side of the spectrum. On the chamber, you have 2 trademarks. You have a 0 point, 2 flashes, a shrapnel, 2 concussive blasts from the neon, a fast lane. Astra, we don't even talk about her. She's like a walking,
Exactly.
she's like a living, breathing utility belt that you can carry around everywhere on the map.
A
And
dive
then
bomb
there is
punish.
Big Daddy Breach.
Nasty, right?
Like, this combination makes it so difficult for you to even play the slow game. If you want to play for picks, good luck even finding a single person out of position unless they make a massive mistake and they over-aggress trying to take a gunfight.
Yeah.
You're not going to get away with anything.
What did they do different here? Mid control certainly hasn't been working out.
They need to rush. Honestly speaking, I
Yeah.
believe that they need
They
to
need
rush.
aggression through mains to then make sure that mid is a weak point. If you're not gonna apply pressure through any of the mains and you only take aggression through mid, a lot of teams are comfortable with just playing the main position aggressively on the back of utility and an aggressive off angle, if not even a crossfire. So that needs to be the difference maker. And yet again, the combination of the utility going in tandem with this double peak yields them the couple of kills that they needed. But Reckoning Esports have traded efficiently. Loki has made
Loki is
effective
bad.
use of this downtime, and he's found the perfect off angle to maybe net himself the triple, but he's let this one slip through the fingers and given a chance for Reckoning Esports to fight back. Ember, this is a very clutch play, and he finds himself the lineup to get his team not only the W, but map 1, baby. Revenant Esports, a wall that they put up on the defense even without having a Sage. Now that is a statement. Never looking threatened, never looking in question of their call, as they were able to make decisive and very, very crucial calls throughout the mid-game adaptations that we've gotten to see. This is a scary Revenant, and now Reckoning left with an all to do, as they now are going to be in that backseat.
Shocking that I don't even know here at this point, OG, because I didn't expect this. It felt as though Reckoning, they were completely disjointed on the map of Split. 3 rounds, they ran down the clock to the last 10 seconds and they were stuck on mid. You have mid control, do something with it. You need to brute force your way. Everyone was scared to push into a side because of the utility. And this is one of the main reasons why you don't pick up a double duelist composition. As we head them down over towards the match highlights, you're going to be able to notice the main problem was the composition. It was not really the team. They didn't have any utility to even push through something.
Yeah, and
the
everybody
defense,
from
Reckoning was in a much more of a better spot.
exactly, everybody from Reckoning looked alive on the defense. You saw Harsh make big plays. You saw Deadly being very, very lethal with that operator. Pixels was in a very, very comfortable spot. Rio and Badlove, they chimed in from time to time, cool. But the way Revenant Esports were able to make their defense chime its music to the sound of death, this is very reliant on Reckoning Esports to find more consistent ways to outplay your opposition. Even on the defense, it felt like a lot of what Reckoning Esports had to do was play passive, and on a couple of occasions Revenant Esports did end up giving that jig away, right? That's something, however, that they learned from. They learned how to play against it, and they then made a very crucial adaptation with how they choose to commit to fights. They tried to take that mid-Vents control, but they did not commit any further. They then tried to exploit B heaven, they exploit B main, they tried to show presence towards A main as well, and keep the defense always on its tippy toes and always guessing, which is what made the difference. In a map like Split, you need to apply pressure to then make sure that your enemy is not feeling all that comfortable, because this is a map where that yin-yang pressure, both through mid and the mains, is the story of success or failure.
Especially cases like this, man. Revenant, you can't make this one up at all. G. Their defense was immaculate. I didn't really see any flaws on their defense because of the way that they were playing, purely based upon utility. And the main thing that I would like to add is that the Reckoning were able to play such a beautiful game on their own defensive side was primarily because of one important reason. On defense, you don't need as much utility. If you're able to play your angles properly and hit your shots, you're good.
Yeah.
No amount of utility can flush you out of a lot of these situations, but on your own attack, if you don't have utility to flush out the defenders who are using their utility to slow you down and make you uncomfortable in the position that you're holding, how do you counteract it? You just can't. No initiator on the opposite side should paint that picture, and I'm really hoping that the map of Haven does not fall into the same boat. I understand playing for comfort is important, but at the highest level, when you're facing off against a team that are known for their utility as well as their raw mechanical skill, Reckoning, they better be scared, because Haven could just be a one-sided affair.
Yeah, and we head over to the scoreboard for map 1. Ember
Our
was
head-to-head
the
player,
MVP.
man.
And
Ember.
yeah, I was just about to say, he did justice to the head-to-head segment that we had prior, because he not only came alive in those slow round adjustments, especially with his utility, but the fact that he was able to net 24 kills. In all honesty, I didn't notice most of the time Ember fragged, because it was very reliant on that crossfire setup and the utility setup, right? Some of these occasions on the defense, especially in that last round, a couple of frags were gifted to him. you have to admire the way Revenant Esports were able to play around with the utility, like you said, but also more importantly, not get phased by that mid aggression. Because you saw as soon as Pixel started fighting in the initial segment of the first half, when he started punishing not only Scar God, but he also was able to find Knight Rider, who was trying to beat the lurk or the linchpin towards ramps. After those initial few rounds, Reckoning never really, got that fight or the opportunity to take that fight again. And Reckoning Esports, if you talk about how their attack was in a motion, you could see that most of the strategies were more or less rinse and repeat. And the defaults from Revenant Esports was more than enough to then offer a huge rebuttal. So, like you said, it's a map where it's crucial to have that initiator. Sometimes you come in with a game plan and things don't pan out. But on the verge of heading to your grand final slot, it's not going to be easy. You're going to be tested every step along your journey because that spot's going to be well deserved. And Revenant Esports, a step closer to that grand finalist spot. You need to be in a little bit of a show to behold who's going to be that grand finals, and that's going to take you a couple more hours today. So give us a few moments. We're going to take a small break alongside the players. A huge shout out to our sponsors. You're watching the LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Challenger Series powered by Zotac and Crucial. Check the links down below to grab yourself some amazing peripherals. Do scan the QR code to grab your own can of Red Bull. Get your popcorn, and we'll be back in right about 5 minutes.
the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial Ballistics.
We're back. We're back with map 2, and we're back to follow along the journey of who's going to be our second grand finalist to join VLT in their matchup tomorrow and who's going to bow out. CCB so far, Revenant Esports have taken the edge in this battle by winning out map 1 of Split. And the way they did so, it was a little heartbreaking, to say the least, for Reckoning Esports, because they looked to be in control. They looked to be in a driving seat
The
of the game.
lead,
They
exactly.
had the lead, but like we keep mentioning, it's not about when you have the lead, it's about how you maintain that lead that's going to make all the difference, whether you close out that map or not. Now, we're going to go to Haven, a map pooled in by Reckoning Esports, and a map where Revenant Esports aren't all that stranger to it as well, right? This is the same
Exactly.
map where we saw that upper bracket semi-final matchup, and this is a map where Revenant Esports looked to be in utter domination. So I'm a little concerned, but I hope, like in map 1, Reckoning Esports came in with a little more homework. Hopefully now that homework will transition and fruit into results.
Well, let's jump into the agent selection screen and see the compositions these teams will be running. Is it going to be a replication of what we saw in the previous matchup that both Revenant and Reckoning, when they went up against each other on the map of Haven? Is it going to be the same, or are there going to be differences? Because, yeah, I have to agree with you, OG, that if Reckoning Esports, from their prior matchup to Revenant, where they lost 13-5 on Split, if they can make a lot of rectifications in their mistakes, and if they can improve the score on a map like Split, where Reckoning aren't necessarily, like, it's not their most comfortable map, you know which one is? It is going to be Haven. It is their home map, as I would call it. If they have improved that much on Split, surely they can go above and beyond on the map of their liking, on a map that everyone in Reckoning, and in my opinion, Reckoning as an organization, just love thoroughly through and through. It's going to be Haven. And now we're almost done with the compositions. Revenant Esports, once more, interesting from their side. They haven't opted for a Sova, but still are going to be going for that double initiator. And then when it comes to their Sentinel as well, they're not going to be going for a chamber. Now, one would assume that all the long corridors and hallways that Haven has, you
Select
have
your
A long,
agent.
you've got C long, even mid, when you peek it from the B bomb side, chamber would be like a no-brainer, but no, Logista, he has gone for the Killjoy, another very prevalent agent, but but an agent whose pick rate has been a bit on the decline ever since chamber has been picking up traction.
Here's the thing though, this draft, both by
Right.
Reckoning and Revenant Esports, is the exact same draft that we got to see them play this map out the last time we did. This is a
Mm-hmm.
chance for them to, change things around. And I mean that in a different way, because this is more about Reckoning Esports finding answers to Revenant Esports' tendency to opt out of fights, to play more in terms of utility, to play more in terms of the retake effort, especially on that defense duty. Now, is that a
Right.
luxury that they're going to give? We've seen how the fast paced action from Scar God on Split makes the difference. Now, it's going to be a different case. They don't have to deal with the pace that Scar God has to offer, rather, they need to deal with the pacing that Revenant Esports are going to throw in the waters, because they are a team that are synonymous with with the ability to just kick the pace up a notch and make that difference. And that's something that we got to see them do very well on Split as well.
Exactly. We need to see them up the ante. We need to see them really be on the tail of their opponents and initially take control as well if the need be. So now we'll be starting off, and the pistol round is upon us. Reckoning Esports, they'll be the ones on the fence. Revenant, it is their attack. They look to be pushing through Garage, but no. Overall, they're just spreading over the map. They're just trying to gain map control and trying to find a place or get any sense as to where the Reckoning members are and get their exact positions. Hush.
Yeah, look at this
It's all
play.
about peeking wide, but no, Revenant have infiltrated deep into defender territory. Look at them attacking the C-bomb side from behind. Pixels is in the corner. His vision is blocked off. He takes a gunfight. He gets the kill. Now, Stargod though, he gets the trade, and Revenant Esports managed to take bomb side control, but it has costed them a little more of the manpower. Magista by himself has to take those duels. He is in the B-bomb side. The spike is not going to be planted. Instead, they are hunting down the defenders, but it is costing them their time and they're losing their lives.
Here's the crucial aspect of this round which Revenant were not able to consider. That aggression through C-Long. They did not have a backlines when they lost Ember, who was in his astral form setting up for the hit, setting up the utility to make sure that that hit becomes a little easier, which he did. They got into the backlines, didn't they? The only thing after that is Reckoning kind of boxed them in. Once you have the backlines and once you fall passive in that front line, you're really not offering a fight, which kind of forces Revenant Esports to overextend to even have the ability to fight back, which was so well punished by the likes of Harsh and his utility usage alongside Pixels. Deadly. He opts to play aggressive, and he's gifted that frag. He's trying to go for the wallbang, which Wimp, he's eaten quite a bit of damage. Deadly trying to go for yet another, but the push through the smoke and Scargod gets punished right before the cloudburst boom. Although Logi has found himself in the backlines yet again, and Rio, considering the stat of the pistol, could have expected it. Okay, that's a free gun, by the way, Lamau. They get the sight, and they should get the plant, which can't be easily denied. Revenant Esports, for what they're concerned, this round is already a W.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the extra economic boost with the spike. They get another kill thanks to just a classic. And you've got one member against a Bulldog and two Spectres. My god. That's the Reckoning Esports. I would say a little expensive round, but honestly, they won't mind losing 2 lives. It's going to be their bonus. I don't think they'll be investing into this round. They'll just be on Sheriffs and Ghosts. Revenant, they know that this should be the round which will allow them to finally get one back up on the board, and for them to start going, and for them to start the machine and churning out round after round to kind of build their winning spree. But overall, the first half is really going to be heavily contested from both the rosters. As we can see on the side of Revenant Esports, they have got 2 initiators. They've got 2 different agents who've got flashes, and then you have got the Jet as well. So best believe they will be using their entire aggressive abilities and their attacking opportunities to go for any avenue possible. And then you've got Reckoning as well, who have those initiators, but more importantly, one of the initiators is KO, who can really suppress the attackers and just slow them down, halt them, not to mention the fragment, which, I mean, completely stops everyone.
They're gonna rely on this counterplay to work, because Bad Love, all the aggro is drawn in to play aggressive and find the opening. Deadly has his blades as well, so possibility for them to play aggressive and yeet the rewards! Bad Love! He really does do them dirty, right? Hence the love and the bad to go alongside it. The last blade and Deadly is not able to connect. But what has connected so far is this defense, as they've strung together what looks to be a doable round. Revenant Esports, they slow the pace down and they anticipate such counter-aggressive measures. Is Logi gonna be able to clear out Rio? The same position from which Bad Love got the collateral from. Logi, he's gonna hope that they aggress through this position for the guns. He's looking to punish the greed. And is he tall enough to do the deed? Yes, he is. Ember on those backlines, all the aggro yet again drawn to the front lines. as they just push, they push in their conquest for weaponry, they give up position. How do they compensate for the position and the advantage that they've lost? They had timing as their friend. This backstab has paid dividends, and now the turntables, the lockdown, it forces them to play aggressive. Information given on a silver platter, and Ember finishes the job as he scorches them to a crispy finish. What a way for them to open up their sheets here in map 2, as Haven seems hellish with that kind of a rebuttal.
That shot, I mean, okay, the final shot from Ember, fair play to the lad. You know, through the smoke, one tap, that's that. But bad luck. He got one headshot with the headhunter, went on to get a collateral double headshot with a single bullet. My goodness. That was something, and that really helped Reckoning majorly. I get it, they lost a round, but in their bonus, they took 3 members down with them, and now you've got the operator on Deadly 10 as well. Extremely easily, you've got Knight Rider pushing through. His location is known. Before going down, Knight Rider manages the trade onto the jet. It means that Reckoning Esports and Revenant are now level when it comes to their manpower. And in an extent, this is a little worse for the side of Reckoning because they have invested a lot in this round. This is their proper full buy. They've gone all out. They had an operator as well. And if R&T team managed to get this fight down, it is going to be highly beneficial. But bad White Peaks, he did not expect 2 members to end up in his crosshairs. More so, it was their own crosshair that led to his ultimate demise. All down to the final member on the side of Reckoning Esports now.
That was their only opportunity. Either he wins that fight or doesn't take it at all. And the worst possible outcome now leads to real hoping for the best possible result. The utility set by Ember to deter the tap and commitment, but Rio has changed position. And now he's trying to maybe play off information. Shock Dart's good, removes Ember, and makes this a doable task of the Rolling Thunder just to secure this round. Still a little bit of time, but Skargot should be able to play this one down to the wire. What? The tap from range. I think Rio just about gets this clutch. He does. No, a millisecond. And that's what's the difference maker. Oh. Revenant now has certainly a little reckoning within them, don't they?
This, my God, Rio, no way. He managed it, just holding, and then Skargod. I mean, I presume from that very angle, Skargod got the audio cue right,
But not even the hop stick.
Yeah, that's the thing. Had he gotten the audio cue, then he shouldn't have peeked. In my opinion, maybe he was double checking whatever. Hey, it was 0.06 seconds. I'm gonna leave it up to chance. Reckoning Esports, fair play to the lads. They managed to win the round. Currently leading 3-1, but it really shouldn't have been like that. Knight Rider all by himself, just pushing through. Skargod was there technically for support, but there was nothing he could have done from that angle. The fragment prevents Logister from pushing, and Deadly 10 secures it by putting him under the crate. Triple kill for this Jet, looking for a quad. No, Vimp denies him that opportunity, but Reckoning Esports, they're just going to deny Revenant any chance of winning this round. It is, after all, a semi-buy from their side. Not much that they can do. It's all down to the sky.
Yeah, setup from Harsh's but got this all started off. Wimp, position this cover, tries to play this aggressive, and Rio in with the punish. Easy as day. Considering the start they had, everything looked pip squeaky. Although Deadly being a little too open with his engagements. Now that is something that he really would look to do with this operator, right? This is where the ability of being unpredictable is gonna carry its worth in gold. You need to catch your enemies off guard. Mind you, there's no Sova on the side of Revenant Esports. It's harder for them now to get information on Deadly 10, which kind of plays into the hands of Reckoning Esports because that Breach Sky combo is hard to play on the back of less information.
Exactly. And now that's the thing. You know, without the Sova being there, without heaps and heaps of info, you have to end up pace checking a lot of the things. I mean, sure. Yeah, you know, you have a bit of utility to help you. But overall,
Right
nothing
there.
is as good as the Owl drone. Just even after its nerfs, it's still highly prevalent. Bad love. Oh, catches Knight Rider completely off guard. There was no way the Jet was expecting that. Once more,
read.
Knight Rider is the first casualty of the round on attack. The fact that Revenant Esports are losing their Jet as the first person without any trades whatsoever means that their executes ultimately have to be dependent on the supportive players. And
push
once
now.
more, they are looking for a B take, but they're just going to get cornered off in so many of the angles. Wim gets a double kill. Starboard manages one before he goes down. Wimp is going completely insane with this Vandal. He doesn't have a care in the world how much HP he has. He needs to click heads. That's exactly what he's going to be doing. And now he'll be planting the spike. But OG, we've been in this scenario before. A 1 versus 2. Rio, the only person alive. He has a recon bolt. He has a shock dart. It's on the C bomb side. When have I seen this before?
The positions though changed up. There is a lurk presence from Loki and went long range with that operator as he wasn't low HP. And I kind of understood what Reckoning were trying to go for there. They tried to buy a little bit of utility into that fray on the defense, and they were hoping that the utility alongside that Huntress Fury will be enough of a distraction for that ceiling push to work. Wimp though completely changes the tail of that. Trades his team out in that link aggression, is crucially able to find that frag to raise the back of sight, which is what changed the round and gave him that opening. Deadly. The one occasion where he wasn't really that deadly. But is that what Revenant Esports even need to get around? Well, they found that initial trade. They've lost Bad Love, and Harsh finds the head of Scar God. They've lost the Sentinel on the defense here, which to some extent is value completely out of the door. And Wimp, the fact that he was able to deal with that verticality was beautiful, and deadly overcommitting to that peak. Knight Rider more than ready with the tailwind preemptively. Gets that shot, gets some cover for Ember, who can now maybe get to the plant. They've not fully cleared out Garage though, and that's why they hear Harsh's footsteps down on the floor, which might be a perfect bait for Rio to emerge from backside. Harsh very reliant on getting this first frag for this play to work! The triple! Rio! He is the hunter and he'll get you with his gun! Whew. The play that he's been making for so many rounds yet again works. This man on the retake is able to make his worth turn to gold. Yet again, it comes down to the wire though, CCV. This is possible for Revenant Esports to easily turn the tail off, and it's been done before in the past, and it very well could be done in this occasion. Although Reckoning Esports, kudos to them. This early lead that they've gained, now they need to find a way to maintain it, or else we could be seeing a repeat of map 1 all over again.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've seen that before, but there was one major difference. Split is really, I would consider it a home map for Revenant because A, the comp that they have designed it, they have tailored it in such a specific custom manner that it suits their playstyle and it really works. But Haven is considered, in my opinion, I personally consider it to be the home map of Reckoning. So they may not give up this lead. Not easily at the very least. Now you've got an eco round. Knight Rider dashes up, drops into the bomb site, gets 1 kill. Harsh slows the enemies down, and now you've got the reinforcements flooding in the bomb site as well. Revenant Esports realize, yeah, I get it. It's our eco round, but we still can't push through. We need those skills. We need a couple of guns. That's what Ember has acquired. And once more, the spike is going to go down. This is a consistency. This is a characteristic I really like on the side of Revenant. That always, no matter what, they get the spike down. But dealing with the spike, playing this post plan, very different job. This is extremely difficult for their side. They will be committing the Cosmic Divide. Wim needs to find something. He's going to be right there on the side. Is it going to be a body block? Oh my god. Oof.
Read that like a book. Exactly the plan that Rio had in mind. He knew what the setup was looking like there. And Ember needs to deal with the operator, which he does, but the plan's not for him. He needs to overcommit to get this frag, and for that he needs to fight Harsh. Rio, yet again, the read this member has, especially on the retake, is what's saving RGE so much skin.
Yeah.
This lead of 4 rounds is in a position where now could be contested. The economy from Reckoning Esports isn't that mighty. Revenant Esports have yet another buy. This is their opportunity, and they've taken this opportunity on every single time of asking. This needs to be a well thought out. Oh, Hunter's Fury. This is gonna be big. Hunter's Fury is lobby, and then the quick push towards A. A lot of pressure now could be applied as soon as they discover about this hit. And Harsh alongside Deadly, they do good to hold the front lines, and this is where the Hunter's Fury could make the world of difference, as it allows Deadly to reaggress, gets another tailwind, another opportunity, another shot that he can then commit to. But Logi, yet again, being a big, decisive difference maker, needs to make the big, decisive play yet again. Knows the paranoia came from behind him, knows Deadly's whereabout. Ember punishes the lurk from Bad Love. Pixel spots Logi out, and Logi spots likewise, gets the tag in the back. A 1v1. Both Logi and Deadly, the players who have woven this round to perfection for either team, now needs to deliver the finishing blow, and Deadly finds another head. He might not be French, but boy is he a guillotine and a half.
It's almost something. I mean, Reckoning Esports, they knew exactly how Revenant would go. They knew exactly their method of attack. But then you had Register, who pushed up from A shot, got a double kill, survived, got another, and was just there. And then you had the support, or shall I say the lurk, of someone like Ember, who was just there on outside of Garage, and he managed to get a kill as well. Really excellent stuff, but towards the end, it was that 1 versus 1, and Deadly 10 with a 4K. I mean, goes to show just how well this man has been performing. The highest kills for a specific reason. He is the top fragger in the entire server right now. But Revenant Esports, seems like they've had enough. They're just really pushing through Garage, looking for a kill. They find another, this time with the Bulldog. The numbers on the defense are dwindling. Bomb side, given up because they have lost the manpower. The Spike is going to move forward. 2 ultimates to work with for the side of Revenant. That's really good. I think the Killjoy lockdown is going to be very helpful. But you have one man, the master of the C-bomb side, the master of the post plant. It's going to be the Sova, it's going to be Rio, flushing a couple of the members out, delaying the Spike being planted, but it is the inevitable after all.
Yeah, Logi's gonna more or less secure C-long, so everybody from Revenant now eyes towards Garage and this defender spawn rotation. The Rolling Thunder used to perfection, buys them time, buys them this round, more importantly. A lot of utility being dumped, and this round, Scargod, he's having such a big influence. Sure, he might not have gotten like the majority of the frags. In fact, I think he got only 1 frag, that being towards Garage window. But the amount of delay he's cost Reckoning Esports has gifted them another round, and the possibility for them to end this as 7-5 half. If it wasn't for the gunplay though, you have to talk about the utility here. It's Reckoning Esports doing something a little more uncharacteristic. They were fighting this utility. They wanted to take these fights aggressively. Considering they had Bulldogs and Vandals, those are guns that give away tracer fire. So even if you spam through cover, you might end up covered, which is even worse.
That is true, because of the fact that there's already so much on the hands of Reckoning Esports in terms to deal with the utility. If Revenant can manage to capitalize off of that, then things look on the up and up. But there have been so many of the times where Reckoning themselves just deny any opportunity, and they get kills very early on in the round. Thus, Revenant lose their manpower intentionally. They lose the utility as well. And once more, look at this. It's not even been 9 seconds into the action phase. Deadly 10 gets 1 kill, has pushed up from mid. Bad Love with another great shot. Revenant have lost 2 people. They're going into a bomb site where there are 2 defenders present already. Rio gets 1. Logista is now the only person alive. He is cornered off, trapped, and this felt like a round that should have been in the hands of Revenant, but they just walk quite literally into the crosshairs of Reckoning time and time again. Within 25 seconds, this round was over. Or like 30.
I feel like this composition that Revenant has needs to hold more value on the defense, and I think that it's a composition that absolutely will. Right now, the lack of information is what's causing a lot of problems for them. They have the
Yeah.
back clear, like you said, a lot of close angles, and that gives opportunity for Reckoning Esports to then play aggressive off angles and then escape. They have the tailwind, they have the rendezvous. These are abilities that enable you to get such openings and to run away with them, having the advantage in your back pocket rather than giving it back up. They've seen a lot of variation here, Revenant, but not success. And they're hoping this last round paints a different picture. We know that these members are more than ready to have a long marathon to victory. And this could be a long way back up in map 2. It's still, however, a chance, and Reckoning Esports need to heed to that and not give them anything free. They can't afford to even give a semblance of hope. Alright, this lockdown, it clears up the presence towards Garage and some side of this B side. Although Harsh with his counterpart towards A Link are gonna be in a position where they're gonna play off each other. Remember setting up utility to deny that. Nice movement from Knight Rider, and it's so mobile that Bad Love gets thrown off guard on the top. They force Harsh. Nice pre-fire, and he's now setting up utility for his further peak. The paranoia is perfect and enables Harsh to be more of a menace. This 0 point, this overload, it stopped the utility and stopped the train of Revenant Esports in towards the B side. Every advantage that they gain nullified. Scargod needs to find this frag. Finally, Harsh put to bed with his position. Pixel set up. Logi, perfect position, perfect support, perfect player. Everything that we expected from him delivered, but only in that last round. It's given them that lifeline, an 8-4 half, and this pistol is going to be very crucial for Revenant to now secure if they want to end this at 2-0.
Fact that Harsh stayed by that gong, and the fact that his location was known right from the very start when Revenant realized, okay, there is the KO at the back, we need to clear him, but still they kept on pushing forward, and every single time the members of RNTP, it was Harsh, just kill after kill after kill. He got a triple. Amazing stuff. That was really sensational right there. Great effort from him. Yes, Reckoning still lost the round, but kudos. He survived pretty much everything Revenant threw at him. Now though, it's going to be Reckoning throwing everything at the defense of Revenant Esports, and they have to deal with this. We have a 3-man party pushing up A. Stargod gets 1 kill, Knight Rider another. Those are 2 members. 3 make that. As Reckoning, they now fall down to 2. Yes, they have planted the spike, but the positioning is really poor. Pixel's all by himself. No. He misses that. Harsh is in the bomb side. We've seen him clutch before. He gets a double, but nah, this was a little too much for even him to handle. Revenant Esports, OG, like you said, if they wanted to get back on winning ways, if they wanted to end a 2-0, they needed to win the pistol. They have done just that.
Fighting chance. That's all they asked for. That's what they get. Like I said, this composition on the defense, once you give them sight, once you give them real estate, and you know what kind of box they put in, it's so easy to get the job done. But it's heavily reliant on that setup being pitch perfect, right? With the kind of aggression that Revenant Esports are accustomed to, Reckoning Esports now need to kind of deliver that same medicine to Revenant. They need to find a way to up the ante, because with how the setup is from Revenant, if Reckoning do not play a pick-based split game, it's gonna be very easy for them now to take the back seat. And Knight Rider, a little bit of an overcommitment there on the peak. That Astral will set up Scargod for this play, but he's not able to finish that job off. Dodges the shock dart, dodges the fragment, and comes back to safety, although you can't say the same about Wimp, whose backstab attempts towards A is punished. Such low HP and deadly. Now a dead man. Logi doubles up. Very big stuff. Considering Scargod's HP, he was the only member in close vicinity who could have done anything about this. And Ember dodges that paranoia, enables him to get that kill. Rio, he's been on the lurk, but the longer he's gone undiscovered, the longer this becomes expected.
I mean, first things first, Rio doesn't have the spike. He's got 37 HP. More importantly, I think we can fairly say what's going to be the end of this round. That's why I'm not going to bother talking about that. What I want to mention is the fact that Reckoning Esports, they went for a force buy after losing their pistol. Disastrous consequence because they have just lost. Revenant, this will be their 6th round, and then because the Reckoning will go on an eco, they may just get their 7th, and then we'll be seeing. So not only by going for this force buy, have Reckoning gone for another eco round, Revenant, they may win on their bonus. What do we usually say about bonus rounds? It's a bonus because you have all of those follow-on guns that you bought before. You don't need to invest too much. Revenant, they've had 3 Spectres following on. They buy 1 Spectre, they buy a Marshal, minimal investment. And in my opinion, they very well will be winning this round because they're just up against Sheriffs, which, yes, they can be lethal, but I don't think that will be the case. Reckoning Esports, they went for a big gamble, but they have unfortunately lost their winnings.
Well, oh, he's set up by Knight Rider. The aggro is drawn, the play is made,
Night, night.
and this is just a shooting gallery. Knight Rider having himself a field day, and now he's dangerously close towards that Blade Storm.
One
Gives
enemy
Revenant Esports the lethality they need in the bonus, and they've gotten it. A flawless victory, 1 round away from the equalizer, and crucially, Knight Rider with his blades in his back pocket. This is all building up to a Revenant Esports comeback. And boy, oh boy, this grand final slot, now you know why whoever is going to join Velocity there is truly going to earn their slot.
100%. Revenant Esports, more specifically the coach Novak, they have gone for that timeout. And it makes you consider exactly what is going on in discussions because you're hearing, as we can see on our screens, we can't hear, sorry, but as we can see that it is Novak doing most of the talking. So he is, in my opinion, what I think is happening is that he is giving guidelines to the boys that, boys, you have just secured 3 rounds practically for no cost whatsoever. Reckoning made a mistake. You guys capitalized on it. Excellent job. Your bonus round was a flawless win. You did not waste any guns whatsoever. Be happy. You are on a good path. But now he's essentially saying that now that Reckoning have got a pure, like they've got guns, they've got Vandals, Phantoms, full armor, and they're very soon on their way to with shields. How exactly do you cope from this, and how do you deal with the aggression that they will be showing now? Because Reckoning, they are getting desperate. OG, you were there for the previous match on the map of Split. You saw the Reckoning as soon as they realized that they were losing the lead, they were starting to lose a bit of the control. They wouldn't like that to happen. But let's see what takes place. One good thing I have to say, Knight Rider being on the 2nd position, being the 2nd highest fragger. He was having a bit of a quieter day early on, but ever since the second half has started, he has been popping off.
He has. This is gonna be what needs to be shut down as well, right? Reckoning Esports cannot really, you know, give the room for a player to really feel themselves, especially in a matchup like this. A matchup that you're gonna pray you win so that you can force a map 3 for making it to the grand finals. I think both these teams have a statement, right? These 2 teams are so equal in pegging that this is gonna carry a lot of bragging rights and close range. Wham! The flash setup! This could be the play! No! They find the trade though. Skargard cannot afford to overextend. They managed to upgrade to a rifle, and Reckoning Esports, anticipating this low buy, are now headed towards the seaside. Knight Rider though, he's ready. Is he lethal? That's a secondary question. Tailwind in the back pocket. As soon as he sees threat, he's gonna try and equip it. Although he's a little late to the party. Logi needs to come up big. The Spectre close range doesn't pay its dividends, and the rotation from Ember is already spotted. This is a done round. Reckoning Esports are kind of in a very ironic position, right? What happened to them in map 1, CCV? They played the bonus in the second map. They gave Revenant Esports a way back into that second half, and that caused their demise. Revenant Esports were on the defense that time around, so this could be, you know, what might be a small saving grace. Reckoning Esports, they give Revenant a taste of their own medicine. And not only that, they get the lead. They deny that equalizer and they step themselves away from double digits. I hope that they're ready for the bigger fight. Knight Rider, the operator, is on his hands. The only thing is, once you start losing a round like this, it becomes uncontrollably sweaty, and understandably so as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta say that from this point forward, things are so close. I really can't comment on exactly what's going to happen. Oh, Deadly 10, he extended a little too much. And once more, this was a problem that Revenant were facing as well, is that their jet was the primary casualty, all alone gone. Reckoning are repositioning themselves, and they have gotten into the B-bomb side. But everyone in Revenant knows about this. That's why Revenant are relying on their backstab. 3 members pushing from
Rio.
attacker spawn. Rio completely concussed. Wimp knows about that. Ember as well goes for the shot. And Reckoning, they're all over the place, falling by the wayside. Pixels finally gets the first kill, but that may just be the only kill he'll be getting. Yeah, that's that.
Pixels
This
has been having
was-
this from since map 1, bruh. Sheridan Steps been betraying him quite a bit.
Yeah, true. But man, once more, Reckoning Esports, they just had a lot of the mistakes. First, it was okay. Yeah, Deadly 10 died. Get it? Happened to Revenant as well. I mean, it is a bad thing, but you can't always fault the teams. Whatever, that's done. But then the situational awareness wasn't really there. They weren't sure what was going on. They were literally, in my opinion, all over the map. Half in garage, half outside, dying. It wasn't the best of looks.
They try to go for a fast play that might throw them off guard. Hence, that split Knight Rider needs to concede position. Rough play to make, but again, the cover that Reckoning Esports did dispose towards long is disappeared. They're gonna lay down a little more cover yet again, and they're just hoping that Deadly gets his blades without taking much damage. So right now he's flirting with Catch and Knight Rider yet again from on top of the box. You give those man opportunities like this, and there's no way that he's gonna say no for an answer. They needed the Blade Storm to be mobile, they needed the Blade Storm to be lethal, and more importantly, find the opener. But sadly, this might end up being the closure for RGE in a round like this, where they're fully invested on the back of that anticipation.
Time to hunt.
No, this is the only method of information that Revenant can get. No owl drone for their side, and a couple of the members, a couple of the agents have been spotted, but still Wimp is going for a very wide peek. He is very vulnerable. The flash was there, and there's the peek from Scargod. Makes sense why they went for it. Scargod now he knows to fall back. He has got support, but the support can always die. Scargod is your trusted refragger, and I love that he as a breach is really going for this role, because that's initially and essentially what the breach has to do. Now all down to Rio. Nah, can't do anything. Great round, and yeah, I love Scargod's role in this. You know, this man can play the neon, but at the same time, he can be that cornerstone that a defense needs. Using the utility, he initiates and he sets up his teammates to go for the peak. Even if they lose, he's there for the refrag. Excellent by the book stuff, and it works.
He already has his Rolling Thunder, Ember on his Astral Wall. Even in this first half, when they had to hold from the retake, they used the Rolling Thunder to buy so much time, right? Considering the way Reckoning Esports are playing, where they make their hit in that last 40 seconds, Scargod now has a very pivotal job in this defense. His job essentially is, when the time gets low, you buy more of it. You make sure you starve Reckoning out of fresh air and opportunity, and only then will they be able to get to double digits. More importantly, choke the strategy Reckoning have to offer. But right now, it's allowing Deadly on the blades to go for free picking. They have the Tode Force as well on Bad Love. There are opportunities, and Revenant can't afford to get complacent. A slow play and a commitment towards the seaside. Nice bit of utility to slow this hit down, but is it enough to deter RGE? Because with the breach utility there, that's a side that they do not want to hit, considering the Rolling Thunders are up, and Logi position discovered. Knows Deadly's against him, so he will opt out of playing that close angle. Deadly's stash! It was hit to the wall, and that was potentially their opening to find that front line on guard. Pixels is the one who offers them the haircut. The blade just narrowly misses, and the man advantage crucially gained.
30 seconds left.
Oh, Rolling Thunder's gonna go there. Cosmic Divide as well, preventing the attackers from seeing anything. They have to be in the bomb site to know what's happening. but what's happening is just a pure massacre. Rio survives. He gets one. Bad luck with the quick scope. He is against two members. The spike hasn't been planted and he cannot escape with the rifle. It was a great attempt from Reckoning Esports. Consider the cards they had been dealt. Consider the fact that it was practically a thrifty round. They were relying on the ultimates. They did an excellent job. More so, they forced out two ults from Revenant as well. They had to go for the Cosmic Divide. They had to go for the Rolling Thunder. That surely means something because now in the full buy, R&D are also deprived of two very, very useful ultimates on their own defense. And now Reckoning can go for a pure full buy where they can try and get back the towards the lead.
For sure. They have the incentive, however, to play for retakes of this aggression. It better work because it's a variation, and that chalk dart was enough. Rio, he's tried to make the difference, and so has Kargod, who's taken that initiative to peek from short and get all the advantage. The drone, Rio pushed out of position, but the backstab not discovered in the nick of time. Pixels finds the opening, and Knight Rider very well aware of the position, and Pixels finds that frag. Wow. Okay. Kind of sound like I was on helium, but that was more about the energetic high rather than my pitch. And boy, oh boy, a surge of energy now on RGE, but they can't let this overwhelm them. Logi's been the man to dismantle this kind of a play, and yet again, he might be the menace.
Down A.
As with this play, he's homogeneous. Oh, the rocket to turn around. Rio, how does he have so much confidence that Logi won't punish? He runs for the hills, he runs for his life, and Logi late on the punish. It gives the ability for Rio not only to play post plan with the Hunter's Fury, but set up on an off angle, and Logi is giving Rio the benefit of the doubt. He's slow on his rotation, and Rio, it's all gonna be on misinformation.
Oh, it's a classic case of Hunter's Fury up against the Killjoy Lockdown. In this instance, Lockdown can't do much because Rio is in perfect position to go for that post plan, although he may be forced out of it. He's not checking the corner. He's not checking C-Long. Is Legistra going to check it? He is watching it. He spots it. Oh, he gets it. Man, excellent stuff right there. It was a brave attempt from Rio, but come on, let's be honest. Like, when you're in a 1 versus 1, the entire map is for offer for your opponent. So yeah, he chose a side. He thought it was going to be the backstab, but no, he cut the middle of it, and Legistra went from Garage. Gets the kill. Can't really fault Rio right there. But man, Revenant managed to win that round. A round which had its fair share of ups and downs. I mean, golly, what happened in the first 7 seconds? There were like 5 people dead. And nobody knew how to recover from that. They tried. But in the end, it came down to that 1 versus 1. So now the lead has been extended. Revenant Esports are on a 4-round winning streak. Reckoning 2 rounds away from being out of the Challenger series.
This needs to be an offer that Knight Rider gives. If he gives them a bone, they might take the meal. Oh god, he's looking to make a meal of the situation because the spikes drop right in front of him and Pixels on top. I'm not sure if he saw the footstep or even had audio cue. He tries to go for the flick up. He falls back to safety though. There is the overgrowth. They have the possibility to get back the HP on Knight Rider, although it's all the way towards the A side. Knight Rider needs to commit a long rotation, and he's baiting them into Ember's off angle. That's the reason he held from the right side. He wants them to think that there is a fight that they can win, whereas Ember, the timing was so against him, and Logi puts an end to Deadly, who was the only person in a position to find the opening. Map, match, and grand finalist point on the cusp for Revenant Esports as they're on the verge of sending Reckoning packing 2-0. And a flawless way to get to such a landmark position.
Match point.
It is, however, 9-12 TCV. 3 rounds. It's nothing out of the ordinary. Possibilities for Reckoning to make their way back into this matchup. Nothing, however, is going to be gifted to them.
Yeah, you can exactly. You can see the looks on the faces of the players as well. They know exactly that this is the time to listen. And I believe Sharky will be the one doing most of the talking, just like we saw a couple rounds ago. Novak, the coach for Revenant, he was speaking a lot as to how exactly the boys should play and how exactly they should be performing. And in my opinion, I guess they listened to him because ever since that time out, Revenant have not stopped winning. They have just kept on winning and winning and winning, and losing hasn't even been on their mind. They are now, like I said, at match point, best of 3 point, and looking to eliminate Reckoning Esports out of the Challenger Series. So a round is what separates the teams from their outcomes, the outcomes that have been decided now, but they are not finalized, not in the very least. Reckoning Esports, they can pull this out of the bag. 3 rounds consecutively, win in overtime, go to the final map, win that. Can it be done? If you're asking, can? Absolutely. Is it going to be done? For now, I'm going to say it's highly, highly unlikely, but well, we have seen people win the lottery. We know what odds there are. This is far easier than that. Let's start off with round number 23 right here. Oh, wait, it's a full-on push from Reckoning towards the C-bomb side. Knight Rider has the operator. Ember is playing in the corner. Scargo is also peeking. This doesn't feel like the best scenario. However, Rio's Hunter gets one kill. Knight Rider's operator, though, it cannot be stopped. Logista gets another. And Reckoning, they are stuck in this corner. They need to escape. They need the spike. They need to retreat.
Last player
They
standing.
need a semblance of hope, and it's all on Harsh. Dinked, done, dusted. Reckoning Esports. We assume that they might be a force to reckon with, but Revenant Esports not gonna let them have sweet revenge, as they have a vengeance story themselves to catch up
Yep.
on, as they will meet and greet Velocity in that grand finals. And they get a chance to take vengeance as to what happened to them in that upper bracket grand final. Oh, it was fortune. It was to some extent luck that sent them down to this lower bracket, right? You only could imagine what the situation would be if Knight Rider did not disconnect from that last map yesterday.
Yeah.
That loss, it's not for no reason. They have the opportunity to prove everybody wrong. And this is the perfect stage set. The grand final of the Challenger Series is gonna be upon us, ladies and gentlemen. And this has gotten me to a point where I'm not sure if I'm even gonna get sleep today.
Oof, I mean, I don't know if the Revenant members will manage to get some sleep, or, well, the Reckoning members, but for very, very different reasons. As soon as the match ended and we were seeing the player cams, I saw Ember on side of Revenant. That this was the most emotion I have seen him display after winning that, and it was a smile. He is a very serious man, but he knows it is a time for celebration. Unfortunately, for the side of Reckoning Esports, they will be third last team to be eliminated out of the tournament, but they're still going home with the prize. They will be walking home with 1 lakh rupees because they managed to reach the third position. Let's see their final match that they played. Let's see the final map that they played as we go on over to the highlights that took place on the map of Haven. Starting off right from round 1, Reckoning were looking good. They took the lead, they moved on forward, and they were maintaining the lead in the first half as well. Quite dominant. But then the same problem that occurred on Split happened here. As soon as Revenant managed to get more traction and more and more, and they got more and more rounds on board, Reckoning started not just to panic, but they started thinking, what is going wrong? They started changing. Unfortunate to them and unbeknownst to them, the changes wouldn't matter. It would still lead to the same result, which was a victory for R&T.
Dude, like you said, that disappointment, right? They always got the
Mm-hmm.
start that they asked for. They were just never able to get that to a finish. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these rounds, it was so chaotic that neither side really had the opportunity early on to build an economy. So, regardless what lead that RGE built, it's a shallow one. It's one that, on the back of one loss, starts looking questionable if they even have the ability to fight back on the back of that loss. Because weaponry is going to be concerning, utility might be concerning. And those are the small pieces that you need to give the way of Revenant for them to take the advantage. Like in map 1, they played that bonus, they didn't get that round, it went the other way, and ever since then, it's been going Revenant Esports. So, a lot of things that Reckoning Esports could try and root out from what their experience has been throughout this challenge series. Being knocked out at the upper bracket by Revenant, then having to go through that lower bracket. Their matchup with M42 was really good to display. Enigma Gaming would have put a true test to this roster. Sadly, Revenant Esports were more than enough for this ordeal. What do you think? Do you feel like Reckoning Esports might have had? Where do you think that they even floundered, in your opinion?
I mean, it was to a certain point about a couple of the strategies. Like early on, they were looking very, very confident in the gunfights they were taking. And it could have been because of mentality, or it just could have been because of the fact that they are better on defense, plain and simple. But as soon as the side swap happened, you saw Reckoning losing gunfights they really shouldn't have. And that's what I'm trying to think as well as exactly what led to those circumstances. A couple of the times, yeah, it was a very, very apparent mistakes. Like they were just flooding down C long, hoping that they would get kills when there are what three members of Revenant watching the same angle. There's an operator. Yeah, it's not gonna work out like that. Those mistakes are very, very like easy to spot. But then there were a couple of nuances as well when it comes down to individual player positioning or crosshair placement or just the overall team synergy that may not be working. The calls that you're making may can end up to be wrong, or maybe your opposition reads the exact play that you're going for. So, Reckoning Esports, it led to a culmination of many, many small things amounting to a big problem that they eventually couldn't get their hands on entirely to deal with. Had it been just a couple of small problems, they could have been like, okay, let's do this to fix it, let's do that to fix it. But since there were so many moving elements, since there were so many factors for Reckoning that they had to keep in mind, more so the pressure of losing out the first map when it should have been a victory and being on the verge of getting out of the Challenger series, it felt like it got to them. And from that point forward, unfortunately, there was no saving as soon as Revenant got rounds 11, 12, and eventually 13.
Once Revenant Esports got in their mojo, felt like Reckoning had very little to stop it.
Yep.
Especially a man like Loki, right? Been the clutch minister for his team. And if Loki wasn't this proactive and had this much impact, I feel like this would have been a completely different story for Revenant and Reckoning, likewise. It would have been more of a question whether Loki could then deliver impact in a different way. Because today, the job he's done, the clutches he's brought, and more importantly, the way he secures the backlines for his team, it's been monumental. It's essentially denied Reckoning a lot on their defense in terms of rotation and how maneuverable they can be throughout the map. Also,
Right.
let's head to that scoreboard because a lot of people that we didn't expect got a lot of frags. You expected a person like Deadly to be on the top of the charts, but Harsh, his involvement throughout most of the fights, and more importantly, the setup that you saw him do on the defense. On so many occasions, him changing the dynamic for Deadly speed completely put a stop to what Revenant Esports had to offer. It was something that Revenant Esports were then able to do, ironically, on the back of the way Skargod and Wimp played with each other towards that A long position.
Right.
Knight Rider, do you think that there is a time
Mhm.
where he's going to transition from the jet to a chamber on this map? This value that he brings on the chamber that we saw on Split, if it's on a map like Haven, I see that to be the next curveball that's in that direction. Maybe something that I could expect tomorrow. I don't know. I just hope I'm giving Revenant ideas at this point.
Um, I don't know because Knight Rider he was having as I had stated before like a quieter day, but then the amount of kills that this man got, there was a specific time where I looked at the scoreboard and they were like 16 kills for Deadly 10, the other jet, and Knight Rider was on like 4 or 5. He was at the bottom of the table, and I was like, this is a big, big contrast. Deadly 10 is fragging out of his mind, getting every single kill, and you have Knight Rider in many instances for Revenant being the first casualty, being the first person to be killed in the entire server in a specific round.
Yeah.
But then As soon as he switched over to the jet, sorry, not to the jet, but like the jet on defense, more specifically, as soon as he held those angles that he knew the attackers would push through, there was just something else in him. He had the confidence to repeat the angle, and there were multiple rounds where this man got a triple kill, got a 4 kill, be it the Marshall as well. He got those eco frags with the operator. He was just a different beast. He thoroughly deserves that 253 average combat score. Insane stuff. His average damage as well, 156. Does he have the most kills? No, that title is with Scargod. But he had a lot of the impact in holding down a bomb site just by himself. So yes, if you're talking about purely on defense, Knight Rider 100% can fulfill the role as a chamber because he knows the ins and outs of a bomb site, because he knows the ins and outs of rotations and how to hold off an attack. At the same time, it's his own attack that I'm thinking forward to. That is he always going to have like these quieter days, or will he just have an overall dominating performance that he has had? Regardless, let's see if there are going to be any changes that Revenant make for tomorrow or for the future.
I feel like Revenants certainly are going to make a change tomorrow. The map pool that they drafted in that upper bracket final against Velocity was different. The strat that they went for was different. The ideology that they had was very contrastingly different from what we had on the side of Velocity. So this all makes an amazing grand finals, my friend. It is something that is a sight to behold. And talking about sight to behold, let's also head towards the series MVP and see who snacks that title. Because there are a lot of members who could deserve this. Okay, it is Deadly 10. He's a Jet who's gotten the most first bloods in this matchup. Compared to Knight Rider, he has one
Exactly.
more. And you can go by frags to some extent. It doesn't matter. The amount of entry frags that you get, the amount of times you're able to create the opening for your team is what's going to make the difference. I feel, however, that this is less to do, at least this loss was less to do with Deadly and more to do with the synergy. The Revenant Esports that we're seeing right now is a scary one. The confidence that they have to take that aggression just fluidly through that mid round is something that needs to stack up against a team like Velocity as well, right? You better hope so.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, Deadly has done an excellent job. But more specifically, now we will have a look at the brackets. And OG, there is only a single match remaining in the Challenger Series. That is the grand finals, best of five. Two teams who have gone neck and neck against each other. And tomorrow on Sunday at 5 p.m. IST, we will be starting off. So make sure everyone watching that you are subscribed to the Esports Club, that you are following us on all our socials, and set a reminder, because trust me, if you have watched the upper bracket finals, that was an appetizer. The main course,
For
the
sure.
dessert, and everything and beyond is going to be taking place in the grand finals. It is going to be very, like, I mean, what positive adjective can I even use? Amazing, awesome, one hell of a match, everything. Just whatever is the best adjective you have, like the superlative adjective, not like good, better, best, the best one. Exactly, those kind of adjectives. That's exactly what the grand finals is going to be. But this
sure.
has concluded our lower bracket finals. Great stuff from Revenant Esports. One thing is, I have to personally say this: if you are a Revenant Esports fan, make sure to message the players and give them your compliments, give them your appreciation, because Revenant Esports, they have been playing ever since afternoon. Here at the Esports Club, we had another show match prior to this where they played a best of three against M42. Yes, they did end up losing that, but it went 3 maps. They played 3 long, grueling maps of Valorant, went on, came here in the Challenger Series, went and played another best of three, and defeated Reckoning Esports to take a spot in the grand finale. These boys have been at it for all day. So if you have liked their performance, make sure to send them your love, make sure to send them the positive energy. And the same goes for Reckoning as well. They've given an insane performance. But this does conclude our lower bracket matchup once more. Before we sign off, a huge shout out to our sponsors, LG Ultragear, for providing the best monitors, 27-inch monitors, 144 Hz. Make sure you get the best quality and the fastest refresh rate so that you can not only enjoy any form of entertainment you're consuming, movies, TVs, YouTube, but whenever you're in games as well, you will be getting those headshots. You will be at the top of your table. And if you want the most frames, the best performance you can get for your overall PC and get the best bang for your buck, make sure to get the latest NVIDIA 3000 series graphic cards from ZOTAC. And if you want all your files to boot up in the physically the fastest way possible, if you want Windows to load up in the fastest way possible, make sure to get NVMe SSDs from Crucial. Again, all of the links are down in the description. Get yourself some awesome deals by going there. But till then, it has been me, CCD, alongside OG the Lotus Chicken. We are going to be signing off. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Take care. Till then, bye-bye.
2, 3, let's go.